Hey traders, it's John Howell here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Chinese stock market and the crash and some things to think about. And obviously I'm going to look through an article here, that's on businessinsider.com, which is a really interesting read, but I'm going to give you a quick overview. And this is also the one thing that you should remember about the stock market crash of 87. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's actually get into this this video today. The one thing that you need to remember about the crash with in as you know, in 1987. Okay, this is obviously chart here is obviously from Bloomberg, and you can see here, right, in the late 1980s, equity crash without economic slowdown. So right now you may see, especially in the United States and stuff like that, you know that there's not much economic slowdown, or there may not be, right? But that doesn't mean that the market's not going to crash. You know, and if you have a look here, that GDP never went negative in 1987. Even without the crazy stock market drop. Now I forget what the GDP right now, especially in America, is, but I forget what it is. But as you can see, even it didn't go negative, GDP didn't go negative, okay? It wasn't an economic slowdown, but as you can see, the Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted a shocking 508 points, or 22.6, back in October 19, which is October 19th, 1987, okay? But it actually goes on to talk about basically the bigger picture. So if you're thinking about 1987 crash in the context of the bigger picture, this is the one thing to remember. So I want you to keep it. The reason why I'm bringing this on, because if you look at China, right? China right now, the China stock market right now is everything looked great, right? Property booming, things are moving. You know, had a massive boom in the last year or so with their markets, and now we've had a massive pullback. It's like, what the hell is going on here? And so, if you actually look at that, okay, and you look at the Chinese stock market, just because the GDP is not negative, just because there's not an economic slowdown, does not mean there's not going to be a crash ever, right? And so I want you to think about that as we move in through the rest of 2015 and also through 2016, is, especially in the United States or anywhere around the world, just because there is no economic slowdown, okay, and just because the GDP is positive and all that sort of stuff, does not mean we're not likely to have a pullback, a crash, right? There's other things influencing that, and people like Harry Dent have actually been saying that you know that the Chinese is going to have a crash, and he's been there all along. Now I know some of these economic specialists, such as Harry Dent, hasn't got it right for a long time. I've been following him for many years, since 2008. I've been following him, and he's been saying the market's going to crash ever since 2009, since we started picking back up. So I'm not saying he's always right, but if you actually look at Harry Dent and some of his books and some of his videos, if you take what you know from him and apply it to the actual chart itself, okay? Apply it to this chart here, which is like the S&P 500 chart. We're looking at this right now, right? If you apply it to this chart, here, apply your technical analysis and understanding of the charts alongside with some fundamentals from Harry Dent, I think you can actually really get ahead and really start to see what's happening in the market, right? So the Chinese stock market right now has actually had a massive pullback in the actual in the markets right now. But I want you to just keep an eye on that, because if you look at China, right? China had a massive growth, right? China was the big daddy of everything, right? It's like, you know, the wealth of everything. Everyone was looking to China. But see, even though China's growing at a rapid rate, look what happened to their stock market. It bombed and it crashed, and you know, it's wiped out, I think 40 or 50%, you know, in a matter of months now, of what took them like a year or so to actually increase, right? So keep an eye on this, guys, because through the rest of 2015, through the rest of 2016, is that, you know, one, we're likely to have a pullback, because, put it this way, if we're talking about a crash in the stock market, all right, we're talking about a crash, is it likely to happen? To me, yes, it's likely to happen, because I'm telling you right now, never, ever in history have I ever seen anyone, as many people as high up there, people that I learned from multi-millionaire mentors here in Australia, to Tony Robbins, to Robert Kiyosaki, to Harry Dent, to Donald Trump. Every single person right now is saying that we are in a big bubble, right? There's never, ever, ever in history have I heard so many reputable people say that we are in a big bubble and we are if we don't take this serious, we're gonna crash, right? And so I absolutely believe, and if you look at what most people are doing, is that, it's something that we need to take care of, and you need to understand for yourself what is likely to happen. And that's the reason why education is really, really, really important, okay? You need to understand not only the fundamentals, which what we talk about here, we talk about like Harry Dent's book and stuff like that, go check his stuff out. But on the overall bottom line, you need to understand the technicals side of things. So a bit of a sales pitch here. See this little link up here, click on that. That's actually going to take you to a section where I'm going to completely free give you a 100% course, 12 videos, 12 hours long, teaching you the technical analysis and things to look out for in the markets to help you get along, and as well looking at the fundamentals to help you move forward. Okay, so anyway guys, this is John Howell here. Some things to keep an eye out for, some things to keep an eye for. Remember, head on down to officialjohnhowell.com. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.